Universal Early Park Admission is something a lot of parks have, different names sometimes, but as you guessed it, it's when you get into the park early before the general public. Universal is different in some ways than other parks, similar in other ways, but as someone who has taken advantage of EPA countless times, I wanted to share my tips and tricks to get the most out of your extra time at Universal and the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. First, how do you get EPA? Staying on site at one of the Universal hotels, there are several. There's Cabana Bay, there's Hard Rock, which is where we just stayed. We will have a video on that. Portofino. Another way you can get EPA season passes. Now, some passes have EPA blackout dates on certain days, so you want to make sure you go online and check the website or the app to see what your specific days are. Second, what does EPA allow you to do? Well, it lets you get into the park early. Thanks for asking. Obviously self-explanatory, but it's a little more complicated than that. Depending on the time you are visiting, you're allowed to enter either IOA or studios, sometimes both during the really busy summer season, and you are able to do some of the attractions, making sure to check online to see which park is offering EPA during your visit. If you are in Islands, you'll have access to Hogsmeade for you Harry Potter fans, Velocicoaster. This is subject to change based on technical issues, like when I was there and Hogsmeade had no power. Like I said before, that video is in the description below. If you have access to studios, you will have access to Diagon Alley, which includes Gringotts and Minions. Third, how do you get the most out of EPA? Arrive early. Yeah, I know. Duh. It's early park admission. Of course I'm going to arrive early. But taking it one step further, look at what time EPA starts. It was 8 a.m. My wife and I got there around 7:40-ish, and this was our line into the park. Long, but much shorter than later in the day. Trust me. Usually Universal opens a few minutes before official park opens so that people can get in extra few minutes of value and that people don't get angry because you open the park 2 minutes late. Doesn't mean the park will open a few minutes early, but it usually does. Another way to get the most out of EPA, keep your room key or pass or whatever you're using for EPA access out so you don't have to waste time when you need it later to verify. Depending on how long it takes you to find your pass, it can add up to the number of people getting ahead of you who have this down, or the people that you can get ahead of. If it's at Islands, once you get to the gates, get ready to walk quickly. They'll tell you not to run. That's your own decision. You will walk through port of entry and make a right just before Seuss Landing. You will show your pass, passing all those people that put their pass away and are looking for it. Once in Seuss, you won't need your pass for EPA anymore. Walk quickly through Seuss and Lost Continent, then you will have your choice of Velocicoaster or going to Hogsmeade based on what you are prioritizing. If you're not sure what to prioritize during EPA or you want to hear the pros and cons to both, I have a separate video on EPA options coming and we'll add that to the description below once it gets posted. If at studios, you will enter the park, keeping that pass out to show, remember. Follow the pass straight back to Diagon Alley because staff will be directing you right there. You're going to need it to show around Minion time, so you won't have to have it out for that long, but you're going to want to show that pass. If you're leading the way or get a little late into EPA with no one around, I don't see that happening, but if that happens, make a right at Fallon, walk straight again, and you will be right there, dropped right into Diagon Alley. Plenty of space to pass slow walkers. You can stop and do Minions, but I will cover that in the EPA options video I mentioned earlier. Fourth, and the final key point of making the most out of your EPA time at Universal, putting yourself in a place in the park to quickly get to what is going to open as the park opens completely and to everyone. Have an idea of where you want to go next. If you just did Hagrid's and Forbidden Journey, that's going to get busy there as the park opens, so maybe check out the stores there when people are going to the rides, or hurry to Velocicoaster before non-EPA people are able to walk to it. If at studios, use that time to double back to go to maybe Mummy, or be off to the side so you can dart back to go ride Men in Black, for example. As the entire park opens, you can use that time to get to other rides while people walk back to do what you did during early park admission. We'll have a bunch of more Universal content coming up, so make sure you subscribe and share, and thanks for watching.